Joining us now from Washington or nearby is the online opinion editor of the Washington Times, Cheryl Chumley. And Cheryl's got an interesting book out called God, Given, or Bust. Okay? Defeating Marxism and Saving America with Biblical Truths. So this is a perfect guest for us. Let's do the overall number one assessment that Donald Trump, is in a tight spot right now. How tight do you think it is?
Thanks for having me, first off, Bill. Sure. And to answer your question, it's only tight if he doesn't have the resolve to see it through. You made the key point here that this administration cannot back down from Iran. Otherwise, they're toast, right? They just embolden the regime further and they weaken America around the world. So this administration has to continue until Iran bows. So that's the tight spot. But you also made the point, and I agree with you, that this blockade could do wonders in bringing Iran to its knees, particularly because of the internal pressures from the citizens that will result from it.
All right, but the likelihood of the mullahs caring about their own people is what? Zero?
And right. I think the biggest point you made was that nobody knows, right? But you're right. The regime over there does not care about its people. But at a certain point in time, they run out of resources, right? Their leaders are being killed. Their missiles are dwindling. Their ability to wage military operations are dwindling. They bomb their friends and allies, at least the ones that they do business with against their enemies. And China really hasn't weighed in any strong public show of support for them. So at a certain point, the scales tip to Iran doesn't have any place to go here.
All right. But again, they can, as the Third Reich did, hold out for a while, wreaking havoc on the entire world's economy because everybody's going to pay more. A lot of people don't have any money.
They can, and that's where our European allies should really be stepping up because they're the ones that are taking the first and foremost hit from Iran right now. But look, Iran, if they could hold out to the end of President Donald Trump's administration, that would be their play here. I don't know if they have the resources to do that, but they know that this president, unlike any other president in 47 years, is the one that has taken the wartime opposition to Iran and has stood strong. And he's very different. Trump is very different from any other president. So if Iran, the regime, could hold out to the end of his White House term, then they might have a chance. But that's a long time away right now.
Now, my analysis of the Pope that they are they're in two different businesses and they're not going to, there's no connection, although I think I could make one. But right now, it's Trump sees the Pope as a detriment to this, and the Pope sees Trump as a warmonger. You expect that to change?
No, I don't. But look, these two entities don't have to be working at cross purposes, right? Because America was founded on an ideal of fighting for religious freedom. And we had the Black Robe Regiment, right? We had the pastors that would preach in church and then take their robes off and go out in the field and fight alongside the colonists. And the Pope doesn't have to choose between faith and biblical principles and supporting a war. There is plenty of opportunity for the Pope to weigh in on the evil of the regime while still calling for peace. Those two things don't have to be.
But I haven't heard him weigh in on the evil of the Iranian regime, have you?
No, I haven't, and that's problematic. That's why I think Donald Trump is quite right in criticizing the Pope's actions here.
What about using a picture of him as Jesus? And Trump didn't do it, but he forwarded it out there. It's pulled now, but when I saw that, I went, that's not helping anything.
That's more than not helping. It's really offensive. I'm a Christian. I was offended, and I'm still a supporter of Trump. And I had actually just penned a piece for the Washington Times criticizing Trump over that when he pulled it from social media. So I'm not sure if I'll still run it or not. But look, the evangelical community loves Donald Trump and they support Donald Trump, but they don't, there are certain there are certain lines you don't cross, and putting out a picture of yourself sort of looking like Jesus, that's a line.
Yeah,
cross.
well, it was more than sort of, Cheryl. It was, and again, he didn't do it, but he
Yeah.
forwarded it out there. And
He
it
did.
just seems like this isn't the time for any kind of levity at all. All right,
No.
summing up this thing, I see a glimmer on this Hormuz Pentagon, because the Pentagon obviously is running this thing, strategy. But I think the mullahs would take their whole 93 million people down with them. And that, boy, oh boy, that's a tough one.
And, the problem here are the members of the media and our so-called European allies, that they're almost working on the side of the regime more than they are on the side of freedom, more than they are on the side even of the Iranian people. And if the media would start helping and reporting the truths here, and our European allies would actually do something aside from working against America and Israel, then perhaps it wouldn't have to come to that point that you just described, where all the people of Iran are subjected to the brutality of this regime.
Do you know what the groupthink is in NATO, why they're not helping? Do you have any idea?
Well, you did reference that their dislike of Israel and their dislike of Trump, and I honestly can't think of any bigger reason than that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. All right, Cheryl, thanks very much for helping us out. As always, we really appreciate it. Thank you.